Most people don't expect a cheap compact sedan to have personality anymore. That's the problem with modern economy cars. A lot of them feel designed by spreadsheets instead of actual car enthusiasts. Safe styling, predictable interiors, zero emotion. But then you look at the Hyundai Elantra, especially some of the generations Hyundai released over the last 15 years, and you realize something interesting. Hyundai didn't just try to build cheap transportation. They actually tried to make people feel something about the car. And honestly, that's a huge reason why the Elantra became one of the most underrated compact sedans in America. Because this car quietly transformed from a forgettable budget commuter into something much more interesting. Better design, better technology, better interiors, better reliability, better fuel economy. And in some cases, surprisingly fun driving dynamics for a car that was originally built just to compete with the Toyota Corolla and Honda Civic. But the big question still remains, is the Hyundai Elantra actually good, or does it just look good? That's important because the Elantra has always lived in a strange position in the American car market. It's popular, but not legendary. Affordable, but not considered cheap. Stylish, but still practical enough for regular buyers. It's one of those cars that many people buy quietly without making a huge deal about it. And then a few years later, they realize they actually really liked owning it. To understand why, you have to go back to how Hyundai built its reputation in the United States. Back in the 1980s and 1990s, Hyundai was not taken seriously by most American buyers. The brand was known for extremely cheap cars, questionable reliability, weak resale value, and low prestige. Many people viewed Hyundai as a budget brand for buyers who simply couldn't afford Japanese competitors. And honestly, at the time, that criticism wasn't completely unfair. Early Hyundai models struggled with quality issues. The company had a lot to prove. But Hyundai did something very smart over the following decades. Instead of staying cheap forever, the company aggressively improved almost everything at once. Design improved. Reliability improved. Technology improved. Safety improved. And eventually, styling became one of Hyundai's biggest weapons. That's where cars like the Elantra really started changing public perception. Especially during the late 2000s and early 2010s, the Elantra suddenly stopped looking boring. Hyundai began using much more dramatic body lines, aggressive front grills, sharp headlights, and sporty silhouettes that looked far more expensive than the actual price tag. Compared to some competitors that stayed conservative, the Elantra looked futuristic. And Americans noticed. Because even today, if you park an older Elantra next to many economy sedans from the same era, the Hyundai often still looks more modern. That became one of the car's defining strengths. Now fast forward to 2026, and the Elantra continues following that same philosophy. Even the newest generation looks bold compared to rivals. Sharp body creases, aggressive LED lighting, sporty front fascia, a low, wide stance. Some people absolutely love the styling, while others think it's too dramatic. But one thing is undeniable. It gets attention. And honestly, that matters in this segment. Most compact sedans are bought logically, not emotionally. But Hyundai understood that younger buyers still want a car they can feel proud of. They want something affordable without feeling boring. The Elantra delivers that surprisingly well, especially trims like the N-Line or the high-performance Elantra N. Those versions completely changed how enthusiasts viewed Hyundai. Suddenly, Hyundai wasn't just building cheap commuter cars anymore. They were building genuinely exciting sports sedans with aggressive styling, turbocharged engines, sporty exhaust sounds, and sharp handling. The Elantra N especially shocked a lot of people in America. Over 270 horsepower in a compact front-wheel drive sedan with a manual transmission option? That's not something people expected from Hyundai 10 years earlier. But even outside the performance trims, the regular Elantra remains impressive for everyday drivers. One of the first things most people notice is fuel economy. Modern Elantras are extremely efficient. Depending on trim level and driving habits, many owners easily achieve fuel economy numbers in the upper 30 mpg range or even higher on highways. Hybrid versions push efficiency even further. For commuters, students, rideshare drivers, and people with long daily drives, that matters enormously. Gas prices in America constantly fluctuate. And compact sedans remain one of the smartest financial choices for drivers who prioritize low running costs. But unlike some older economy cars, the Elantra doesn't feel painfully basic anymore. The cabin is one of the biggest improvements Hyundai made over the years. Older Elantras were simple and functional, but modern versions feel genuinely modern inside. The dashboard layouts are clean and futuristic. Higher trims include dual digital displays, ambient lighting, wireless charging, heated seats, ventilated seats, premium sound systems, and large infotainment screens. Some interiors honestly look closer to entry-level luxury cars than traditional economy sedans, and Hyundai became extremely aggressive with technology. In many cases, the Elantra offers more features for the money than competitors. That's one reason younger buyers increasingly started considering Hyundai over older Japanese brands. Because sometimes a similarly priced Corolla feels more conservative while the Elantra feels more exciting. Now, that doesn't automatically mean the Elantra is better than its rivals. The Toyota Corolla still dominates reliability reputation. The Honda Civic remains one of the best all-around compact cars ever made. And cars like the Mazda 3 often deliver more premium driving experiences. But Hyundai found a different strategy. Instead of trying to copy Toyota, Hyundai focused on giving buyers more visual excitement and more features for the money. And honestly, that strategy worked incredibly well in America. The Elantra became especially popular among younger adults because it looked modern without costing luxury car money. Now let's talk about pricing. One reason the Elantra keeps attracting attention is because it usually undercuts competitors slightly while still offering strong equipment levels. A brand new 2026 Elantra generally starts somewhere in the low to mid $20,000 range depending on trim and options. That's extremely competitive in today's market. And used Elantras can become even more attractive financially. Older models from the mid-2010s are now widely available across the United States for relatively affordable prices. That makes them appealing to first-time buyers, students, or families searching for inexpensive transportation. But now we have to discuss reliability honestly. Because Hyundai's reputation improved massively over the years, but not every generation was perfect. Some older Hyundai engines developed serious issues, especially certain four-cylinder engines involved in recalls and lawsuits. Engine failures damaged Hyundai's reputation during specific years, and some owners experienced frustrating warranty situations. Again, this is important because honest reviews need balance. The Elantra is not magically perfect. Certain model years absolutely deserve caution. But overall, Hyundai improved dramatically compared to where the company started decades ago. Modern Elantras generally perform far better in long-term quality studies than older Hyundais from the 1990s or early 2000s. And another thing helping Hyundai enormously is warranty coverage. Hyundai became famous in America for offering one of the best warranties in the automotive industry. That gave nervous buyers extra confidence when choosing the brand over more established competitors. A 10-year or 100,000-mile powertrain warranty is a huge psychological advantage, especially for buyers worried about long-term reliability. And honestly, Hyundai needed that strategy. It helped rebuild trust in the brand after years of skepticism. Now, beyond reliability and technology, one area where the Elantra surprises people is ride quality. This car is comfortable. The suspension tuning balances softness and stability reasonably well for a compact sedan. It absorbs rough city roads better than many people expect. Highway driving feels calm and efficient. Road noise is acceptable for the segment, especially in newer models. And because the Elantra is physically smaller than many SUVs dominating American roads today, it remains easy to park, easy to maneuver, and cheaper to operate. That's increasingly important in crowded cities. Not everybody wants a giant SUV anymore. For younger drivers living in apartments, students navigating campus parking lots, or commuters driving daily through urban traffic, compact sedans still make a lot of sense. And the Elantra fits that lifestyle extremely well, especially because of the technology inside. Modern buyers expect smartphone integration. They expect Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, USB charging ports, driver assistance systems, digital displays. Hyundai understands that extremely well. The company realized younger buyers care just as much about technology as horsepower, sometimes even more. That's why the Elantra often feels surprisingly modern compared to older competitors. And honestly, there's another reason this car became underrated in America. People still mentally associate Hyundai with the past. A lot of Americans remember old cheap Hyundais from decades ago and assume nothing changed. But Hyundai today is a completely different company than the Hyundai people joked about in the 1990s. The design teams improved dramatically. The engineering improved dramatically. And the Elantra became one of the clearest examples of that transformation. Because today, this isn't just transportation for people with limited budgets anymore. It's a legitimately competitive compact sedan that offers style, efficiency, technology, and surprisingly good everyday usability for the price. One of the most interesting things about the Hyundai Elantra is how differently people react to it, depending on which generation they experienced first. Older Americans sometimes still remember the early Elantras as cheap economy cars built mainly for affordability. Younger drivers, though, often see the Elantra completely differently. To them, it's stylish, modern, loaded with technology, and honestly one of the better-looking compact sedans on the road. That shift in perception says a lot about how far Hyundai has come. Because if you compare a modern Elantra to one from 20 years ago, they almost feel like products from completely different companies. The design evolution alone is dramatic. And honestly, design matters more than many people admit. People want to enjoy looking at their car, even if it's just a commuter vehicle. Even if it's just transportation to work every morning. Nobody wants to feel like they're driving something boring if they can avoid it. Hyundai understood that better than many competitors. That's why the Elantra often feels more emotional than some rivals in the segment. A lot of compact sedans focus almost entirely on practicality. The Elantra still delivers practicality, but it also tries to create personality. Especially at night. The lighting design on newer Elantras looks genuinely premium in certain conditions. Sharp LED daytime running lights, aggressive taillight bars, futuristic dashboard illumination, the car photographs extremely well. That's one reason you see so many younger owners posting Elantras on social media. Hyundai successfully made an affordable sedan feel visually exciting. And honestly, that helped the brand attract buyers who normally would never have considered Hyundai in the past. Now let's talk about driving experience. The regular Elantra is not designed to be a hardcore sports sedan. Most trims focus on efficiency, comfort, and smooth daily driving. Steering is light and predictable. Visibility is decent. The suspension feels comfortable enough for commuting while still remaining stable at highway speeds. For most drivers, that's exactly what they want. This is one of those cars that becomes easier to appreciate the longer you live with it. Daily commuting feels simple. Parking feels easy. Fuel costs stay relatively low. Technology works well. Maintenance costs are usually manageable. Over time, that combination becomes extremely valuable. And then there's the Elantra N, honestly. The Elantra N completely changed the conversation around Hyundai performance cars in America. This wasn't just a sporty appearance package. Hyundai built a genuinely fast compact sports sedan capable of competing against respected enthusiast cars like the Honda Civic Type R and the Volkswagen Golf GTI. That shocked a lot of people. Aggressive exhaust sounds, turbocharged power, sharp handling, track-ready engineering, available manual transmission. Suddenly, Hyundai wasn't just participating in the enthusiast world, they were becoming respected inside it. And even buyers who never planned to purchase an Elantra N benefited from that halo effect. It made the entire Elantra lineup feel cooler and more desirable. That's something automakers understand very well. Performance models create excitement for the entire brand. But most Elantra buyers are not racing their cars. Most buyers simply want something affordable, dependable enough, comfortable, and modern looking. And for those people, the standard Elantra usually delivers extremely well, especially when it comes to value. Because one of Hyundai's biggest advantages continues being feature content. In many cases, an Elantra at a certain price point includes equipment that costs thousands more on competitors. That includes safety technology too. Modern Elantras offer extensive driver assistance systems even on lower trims. Features like lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, forward collision avoidance, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and automatic emergency braking became major selling points. And honestly, these features matter more than horsepower for many families. Parents shopping for teenagers care about safety. Commuters care about stress reduction during traffic. Long-distance drivers appreciate adaptive cruise control on highways. Hyundai understood modern buyers extremely well. Now, one criticism some people still have involves long-term durability compared to Japanese rivals. This is where opinions become divided online. Toyota and Honda built decades of trust in America. People automatically associate the Toyota Corolla and Honda Civic with reliability almost by default. Hyundai improved enormously, but the brand still sometimes fights against older stereotypes. And honestly, some of that skepticism still affects resale value. Corollas and Civics often hold value slightly better over time. That's important for buyers who trade vehicles frequently. But for people planning to keep their car longer, the lower purchase price of a used Elantra can actually become a smart financial advantage, especially because depreciation means buyers can often get newer features for less money. That's one of the Elantra's hidden strengths. A used Elantra from a recent generation can feel surprisingly upscale for the price. Digital dashboards, modern infotainment, sporty styling, comfortable interiors, excellent fuel economy. And depending on trim, even features like heated rear seats, wireless charging, or premium audio systems, that combination becomes difficult to ignore. Now let's discuss another important reason why compact sedans like the Elantra still matter in 2026. SUV prices became extremely expensive. A lot of Americans are realizing they don't actually need giant crossovers for everyday life. Smaller sedans still offer major advantages: lower fuel costs, easier parking, lower purchase prices, lower maintenance costs, and smoother driving dynamics. For students, young professionals, rideshare drivers, and commuters, compact sedans remain incredibly logical purchases. And honestly, the Elantra is one of the better examples of that category surviving successfully because it doesn't feel outdated. Some sedans still feel designed for older generations. The Elantra feels aimed at modern buyers. The styling, technology, and interior design clearly target people who care about appearance and modern features. That younger energy became part of the car's identity. And another thing people often overlook is how much Hyundai improved manufacturing quality overall. Panel gaps improved, interior materials improved, paint quality improved, cabin insulation improved. Older Hyundais sometimes felt inexpensive in obvious ways. Newer Elantras feel much more refined than people expect from an affordable sedan. Now, of course, no car is perfect. Some owners still report electronic issues occasionally. Certain engines from older years deserve caution. Insurance costs for some Hyundai and Kia models increased in parts of America because of theft-related trends involving older vehicles without immobilizers. That issue created huge headlines online. But importantly, newer Elantras include updated security systems and modern anti-theft technology. So, while the controversy affected public perception, newer models are much less vulnerable than older ones involved in those incidents. Still, it's something buyers should understand when researching insurance costs. And honestly, that's probably the smartest way to approach the Elantra overall. Realistically, don't expect a luxury sedan. Don't expect a supercar. Don't expect perfection. But if you want a compact sedan that looks modern, feels surprisingly premium for the money, delivers excellent fuel economy, offers strong technology, and stays reasonably affordable, the Elantra becomes very hard to ignore. Especially for younger drivers, especially for commuters, especially for people who care about design but still need practicality. And honestly, that's probably why the Elantra became one of the most underrated cars in America. Because it quietly improved year after year while many people weren't paying attention. Now, would I personally recommend it? For the right buyer, absolutely. If someone prioritizes ultimate long-term resale value above everything else, they may still lean toward Toyota or Honda. If they want maximum luxury, they'll probably look at premium brands instead. But for buyers wanting a balance of style, technology, affordability, efficiency, and modern design, the Hyundai Elantra makes an incredibly strong case. And honestly, the biggest surprise about the Elantra in 2026 isn't that Hyundai finally built a good compact sedan. It's that Hyundai built one people genuinely enjoy owning.